Hey, hey. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I am your humble host, Fizz Ed Music, and this is Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take a little cell phone over to YouTube, like and subscribe. Fizz Ed Music, Urban Politics. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to jump right into it like a car and drive. Now, before I even get started, I just left the local corner store getting me some libations for the show. Every now and then, Fizz Ed Music, he drinks his beer in a mason jar. Why? Tastes the same. Just as good, right? So, there's that. Had to give me a delicious IPA to sip on while bringing the news and get me a Sutter Home Moscato. Yes, sir. Delicious. All right. So, with that said, I'm getting my libations. Guy comes at me like he always comes at me, because he's a true Trump fan. He says, I think Trump's got this thing in the bag. I had to break his little heart. I said, did you know? I'm going to report on it anyway, so you'll hear this fact again. I just spit it out to him real quick, because usually when people are saying this, they're saying it because they think it's the popular thing to say or whatever. So I told him, I said, did you know that Kamala Harris just raised more money than any candidate running for president ever has, ever in history, ever? She raised $1 billion in a quarter. $1 billion. I'm pretty sure a quarter is 3-4 months, right? $1 billion. What makes $1 billion in 3 months? I don't think Facebook makes $1 billion in 3 months. I think Apple makes $1 billion in 3 months. That might be the only thing. So Apple and Kamala Harris are the people getting $1 billion in 3 months. And that was in donations. I'm pretty sure small dollar donations. Anyway, that hurt his feelings, right? So then he's like, well, I don't know. I said, do you know that your boy Trump, guy who who you're touting right now, he just did a rally where he went on and on and on about Arnold Palmer's genitalia? He looked at me crazy. I said, yeah. He said, why? I said, you'd have to ask him. His whole party is asking him why he would be doing this at a rally, talking about some other guy's private parts, just because. And Arnold Palmer, of all people, I don't know. I think it's because he's a golfer, and Trump is, on his jock, because he's a historic golfer. So he felt the need to go on and on about how he must be this great guy because he's so gifted in the genitalia. And how would Trump know? Anyway, and like I told the guy there, what did that have to do with the price of tea in China? That is the reason why. That ain't the reason why, but that's one of the telltale signs to let you know that this guy even knows he's going to lose. So now he's just kind of screwing around. Yeah, see if I can take this party down with me, because he don't care nothing about the Republican Party, right? Anyway, I'm going to get right into the news. That's enough of that, just a sidebar. But when people come at you with stuff like that, spit a fact at them. They ain't ready for these facts, and this is facts. You can Google. If that guy Googles what I just said, he going to come up with the same thing I just told you. Facts matter, ladies and gentlemen. Even though the media act like they don't. Anyway, I don't even want to. I'm talking about unemployment benefits. Let's talk about that first. Now, I've been on unemployment. Not a fun place to be, but it's good that it's there, because there are people who need it. Sometimes you get injured, you get sick. That was my case. I got sick, right? Lost my job, so I had that unemployment. 32,000 320,000 Ohioans fight for close to $1 billion in federal unemployment assistance money. Governor Mike DeWine refused to accept in 2021. An attorney representing these Ohioans in the class action lawsuit says the money is sitting in an account and all he has to do is ask for it. Ain't that something? The U.S. Department of Labor has the money sitting in an account. It's the Pandemic Unemployment Assist Fund. That's what that is, right? This 320,000 Ohioans are fighting for the money that DeWine opted out of. How convenient. He opted out of these funds that would have went through July to September of 2021. So this is money that would have helped people in the heat of the pandemic, was people was going through it. When people had bills to pay, they couldn't pay, especially rent and mortgage, because they didn't have jobs unless they were considered essential workers like me and got to work through all that, where everybody else got to sit at home and get checks from the government. Anyway, there's that. So if you weren't an essential worker, which sometimes I wonder if that was I don't know if that was a blessing or not, but whatever. So if you didn't have that going on, you really needed this money. I guarantee you there's people who got kicked out of their homes because they didn't get this money. I guarantee you there's people whose health is failing, or they may have even died because they couldn't access the resources or the health care, whatever that they needed, because he decided to not take these funds. Now, you might want to ask yourself, Why would DeWine sit there and not take money earmarked by the federal government to help people who need the help, especially during the pandemic? Political theater. These Republican governors, they always like to make it seem like, nah, we don't want this money from the government. And that's the problem right now. We got all these people lazy and don't want to work. Why? Because they get money from the government. So the money is given us, this government, to help people who need it. We're not going to give it to them because we're legislating morality. And we don't think these people need this money. They could be working. They got arms, they got legs. They can go out there and pull themselves up by their bootstraps and go to work. It's laughable, ladies and gentlemen. And then it's like, how about this? Think about this. Why would he really care? I mean, really, it ain't his money. This is money from the federal government. It's not his money. He's not going to lose any money. He's not going to gain any money by taking these funds. You know what I'm saying? By taking these funds, in the name of the state and helping the people in the state who need it, who the government set aside this money for. But he don't want to do that. Because his side likes to play games like that. They like to sit here and say, nah, these people don't need that money. These people need to be working. So we're not going to take that money. Even though people are dying, we're not going to take that money. People sick, we're not going to take that money. People get kicked out their homes, we don't need that. I'm not taking that money. I'm not taking that money. I don't like the way it makes me look. I'm a Republican, and I want people to pull themselves up by their bootstraps and do for self. I believe in small government. Really? Except when it comes to them getting a bunch of money. Same thing happened with Obamacare, right? The American Care Act. And Obama talked about that too. He said, yeah, all these Republican governors, they poo-pooing Obamacare, they poo-pooing the American Care Act until all that money comes to their state. And then, you know what I'm saying, they can't wait to accept the money. They'll accept it, but poo-poo the plan, won't they? They'll take the money, but they'll just be railing against, oh, we don't want this and we don't want that. And, Obamacare is no good. Give me that money now. Is the check cash into that? Keep that check clear. Check clear. Yeah, but horrible program. Horrible. I hate this. I'm taking the money. I hate this. See what I'm saying? Talking out both sides of the net. Same thing DeWine is doing here, man. But it's sad because he's playing games with people's lives. Like I said, I guarantee you some people died behind this. 320,000 Ohioans? That's a lot of people. You can't tell me a couple of thousand people didn't die because they didn't get access to these funds. You can't tell me a couple of thousand people aren't out on their butts right now because they couldn't pay rent or couldn't pay mortgage with these funds. You can't tell me that. So anyway, think about that when you think about who you vote for, to be your governor or to be your president. Think about that. Think about the power that these men and women have. Anyway, moving on. Let's talk about voting real quick. Voting. 17 million people have already voted. Let me say that again for those of us with ears and a brain. 17 million people have already voted. What does that mean? That means that's a lot of people already involved in the franchise. I guarantee you some of these people have maybe never voted. Some of these people probably have voted back in the day but haven't voted in recent years. I'm promising you, some of these are maybe new voters. Like I said, people who have never voted. Or maybe this is their second or third time voting. Haven't been interested in the political process in a long time. But now there's a lady poised to win. I want to vote for that. Now there's a lady of color poised to win. I want to vote for that. We could have a monster named Trump become president. I'll vote for anybody besides that. So a lot of that 17 million people is that, right? But they've already cast their ballot. It would be interesting to me if we could go into these 17 million votes and see where they're leaning. But I ain't gonna lie, I think they leaning democratically, man. I really do. Like I said, with some of the stuff I reported on, or talked about actually in the beginning of the show, that shows you right now what I've been saying kind of since this thing began. The momentum is with Kamala. All they have to do is keep it for what? Not even a week now. And it don't look like it's going anywhere. Anyway, 17 million people have already voted. Hopefully you're one of those people. If you're not, go on and vote today. After this show, you turn this show off and you go, if you live here in Columbus, Ohio, you can go to the Board of Elections on, Greg got a call coming in, to the Board of Elections on Carl Road. And that's where the early voting is. Just go there and vote. It doesn't matter where your district, any of that. That's the BOE, the Board of Elections. Those are the great people I would always work for whenever I worked in the election. So you can go there, cast your vote. You can do that right now. You can do. I want to say you can do it up to election day. I'm pretty sure you might be able to do it election day. So there's that. Now let's talk about what's going on, right? Because we're getting ready to vote on. If you haven't voted already, your last chance to do it will be Tuesday, right? November 5th. So what's going on? What are the different candidates doing leading up into this election? It's hilarious. Let's check it. Well, some of it. Kamala Harris had the biggest fundraising quarter in history. I talked about that in the beginning of the show. $1 billion in a quarter. That's right, that right there. And a lot of that, I think, y'all, is small donor donations, small dollar, donations from regular people, regular men and women like you or I, who are just really into the campaign, really turned on by the prospect of a new administration with fresh thoughts, fresh ideas, and not so much maybe bias towards people who don't look like them. Anyway, so there's that, right? So that might be why she getting like $1 billion in a quarter. I think a lot of those small, dollar donors. Trump raised less than he did in 2020. So he's having problems fundraising. He isn't raising the money that he raised in 2020. That's what I think that is going on with that. Lack of small dollar donations. Lack of those just regular everyday people donating to the Republican Party, donating to Trump. Now, they were also saying, too, that a lot of Trump's issues have kind of dragged down the money for the Republican Party. So they were saying a lot of this money that would have went to candidates down ticket has went to like Trump and a lot of his legal problems and stuff like that. But they've come out and said that. You know what I'm saying? That party has said that. When you're donating money to us, you're donating it to him because we're trying to get him out of the trouble that he created for himself. They don't say that, but that's what's going on. So anyway, with that going on, it is what it is. But a lot of that money that would have went towards these people down ballot and helped the Republican Party is not. So, yeah, so that's a lot of reason he's not getting the donations he used to get. And then the Republican Party has kind of hitched their wagon to big dollar donations, like from big business, because they've always been kind of in the pocket of big business. And that's not a new thing, but I think right now it's just really amplified. And a lot of people see that. And I think a lot of people who are even Republicans have kind of at least got away from donating to the party. I mean, I'm sure their rhetoric is all about how they're voting for Trump and how they love Trump and how they love Republicans and all that stuff. But I guarantee you, if you see, are they actually breaking bread with that party? No. Because in their mind, they finally got hit to the fact they're like, well, the standard bearer for this party is a billionaire. Why am I giving him anything? And there's all these other billionaires who are standing in line giving him money. Why am I giving him anything? They probably wouldn't say that out their mouth, but I think the typical Trump supporter might be on that these days. Like, man, they don't need my money. Because they really don't. But then, they do still get their basis money through doing other silly things like selling tennis shoes that are horrible and all this other crap. So it is what it is. Kamala Harris, like I said, had a rally in Detroit with Eminem and Barack Obama. Whoa. That's all I can say. That was great. If you haven't seen that, go on and after this video, please go to YouTube. Check that out, man. It was funny. You know what I'm saying? Eminem introduced Barack Obama, then Barack Obama, did a little bit of that. You better lose, just, rapped a little bit of that. You got to see it. I don't want to spoil it. It was good, though. Stuff like that wins your votes, ladies and gentlemen. When you got the endorsement of an Eminem, you got the endorsement of Barack Obama. She was going to get that anyway because she's the Democratic nominee. But point being, Barack Obama is still one of the most popular Democrats. He's still one of the most popular people in America. Say what you will. You know what I'm saying? So that's real big to get his endorsement. Eminem is very popular. It's big to get his endorsement. It just is what it is. Politically, I mean, everybody knows Eminem is liberal, but he has had like the song Mosh. If you ain't never heard that, he did that against George Bush because he was like, having kids fight for oil and all that stuff that was going on. So that was kind of like his political statement there. So Eminem, you know what I'm saying? He got a brain in his head and he will speak to politics here and there. And he did in Detroit, didn't he? His hometown. And it's interesting, or, it was, well, actually by no mistake that they did that rally in Detroit because Trump had just got up there and said, yeah, the whole country's going to be like Detroit. It's going to be horrible. It's going to be a terrible place to live like Detroit. I'm paraphrasing. But anyway, he dissed Detroit real tough. They got there, and then they did that commercial about how Detroit is strong and how we've come back and da-da-da. So a lot of that stuff really backfired in Trump's face, and it backfired in a huge way with this rally with Eminem and Barack Obama. So, Trump, what has he been doing? That was what Kamala Harris did. She had that rally with Barack, Eminem. It's good. People loved it. What is Trump doing? Trump spends a campaign speech talking about Arnold Palmer's genitalia. I talked about that in the beginning of the show. Why? Doing interviews talking about military action towards political rivals. What? And they want to just sweep this under the rug. That is a big deal right there. Do you understand what I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen? That means if Jimmy Kimmel does a joke and Trump don't like it, he can have the military go and kill that man. You want to live in that type of America, you know? If he got a problem with Stephen Colbert, you know, the Tonight, which these are shows I love. He got a problem with these people. He's mentioned them by name. He doesn't like it when they talk about him. If he became the president and had the military at his disposal, he could have these men killed. He could have their families killed, and it wouldn't mean anything. It'd be legal. That's the America you want to live in? Is that the America you want to live in? Ask yourself. Okay, so Fox News, of course, they're spinning it as he's talking about illegal immigrants. No, he's not. He didn't say that. And even if he was talking about illegal immigrants, that still wouldn't make it all right, because illegal immigrants are human beings, right? And you don't go killing human beings or hurting human beings just because you don't like what they're doing. You do this thing that we're supposed to have in this country called justice. And they have a trial. And if they're found guilty, then they get sent back to where they came from. That's how that's supposed to work. We're not supposed to be killing people because they came into the country illegally. Once again, while working at a McDonald's drive-thru, Jesus, if you haven't seen that, please check that out. This guy trying to act like he's a normal, everyday person and would ever in his life know what it's like to have an actual job or work for anything. So there's that. While working in a McDonald's drive-thru, once again, reporters ask him, will you accept the results of the 2024 election? And what did he say? Sure, if it's a fair election. That caveat is everything, ladies and gentlemen. When they say it's the caveat for me, you know what I'm saying? It's the caveat for me. Sure, if it's a fair election. I'm sick of that. You should be sick of that. It's ridiculous. But that's kind of the mantra of the Republican Party, isn't it? If I'm in a contest and I lose, well, then the contest was rigged. It had to be rigged. If I didn't win, then they cheated. The only way they can win is if they cheat. So if they win, then they cheated. It can't be that you suck. It can't be that your policies suck. It can't be that you're in no condition to do the job. It can't be that you don't know your butt from a hole in the ground. Couldn't be any of that, Trump. It has to be that they cheated. That's the only way. It has to be that it's rigged. That's the only way you could have lost. And that's what we're doing, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what we've been doing since this guy kind of polluted politics with that, you know. But it's really kind of brilliant, isn't it? If you're a loser who wants to win all the time, how else can you do it? But claim that the election is always rigged. Claim that the game is always rigged. You suck at the game. You'll never win the game. So you just say the game is rigged. You just say the game is unfair. And that is the reason why I lose all the time. Not because I don't know how to play the game. Not because I'm no good at the game. But because the game is rigged. It's the game's fault. You should be mad at the game. That's stupid. And you're stupid if you roll with that. So that is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. We about to do this thing in a minute here. And, you know, we'll see who's going to be the next executive in chief, you know what I'm saying, of these United States. We'll see what happens. I've been watching politics for a long time. Like I said, the momentum is with Kamala. She just got to hold on to it for a little bit of time. Maybe what we got here, man? What's today? Jeez, 27. Come on, man. Not maybe a week. Yeah, Tuesday's the day it goes down. So it is what it is. As always, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching Urban Politics. I want to thank you all for liking and subscribing as you do. Please, as soon as you have a chance, take your cell phone over to YouTube. Like and subscribe. Phys Ed Music, Urban Politics. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, see you around like a donut.